I like the saying about, the high places low, the low places are raised, and the sideways. It's like just stability. And I understand that it's temporary, and I just allow myself to live in that temporary for a moment and not try to run away from it too quickly, because I always learn something in it. So I think I just continue to breathe through it and keep positive attitude. I've always just had that ability to look past my circumstance and where I am in this moment.
Thank you for waking up with Happy Ass, where we come together to a mind, body, and spirit so we can in turn go out and make the world a brighter and sweeter place to live for ourselves and for others. Y'all, I'm super duper, all the dupers excited because I'm here with my good friend, Will Thompson. And if you live around here, you don't know Will, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They maybe not haven't left the house or something. But Will is just a precious human, has the Will Thompson Band, he and his precious wife, Lindsey, and all those other great people. So I want to talk about all kinds of stuff. But Will was one of the people that I really wanted to have on because I love you and I love your energy. And you've always been, I love people that are sweet to me. If you're sweet to me, then I'll love you forever.
How could people not be sweet to you?
I do wonder that sometimes because I'm kind of special, But, so I met Will because I'd heard his music, and for all my fundraisers, you've been doing things for my fundraisers for years, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Will, I know that I want to ask you about you. Are you from here?
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Like what part of Panama City were you born and raised in?
Highland Park.
Highland Park. So did you go to school over in Highland Park?
I did. My mother was the music teacher there.
Wow. Because both your parents were in education, right?
That's right. And then I had my dad as a band director, first at Merritt Brown in 6th grade, and then back over to Moet, 7th and 8th.
So you come from a family of musicians. So when did you know, at what age did you know that you wanted to be a musician, or you knew you were going to do what you're doing?
I think all my life. First of all, let me say I love you, and I'm so glad to be able to call you friend. Yeah. And I really appreciate what
Very
you do
thankful
for the community and just your positive attitude. When I see you, I always know that you're gonna give off this positive vibe, and it makes you infectious. It makes you a person that you want to be around. So anyway, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Will.
So talking about music and when I knew, since my parents were both school teachers and they had music instruments all over the house, I was picking them up when I was really small enough I can't even remember, but I remember there being instruments and everything, and I was always drawn to trying to make something sound or singing something back. My mom tells me as a baby I would, hum back or sing back the tones that she was singing to me. And it's just hard because I'm a 5th generation.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that is just
my mom's father was a conductor, Hall of Fame conductor in Florida. You actually win his award, the Harry E. Grant Award, when you get a superior in solo and ensemble. And then his dad was a conductor, and his dad, I even have photos back of, it seems like Civil War times where people my kin has started bands in these towns. So a long line, we're very rich, and now it's going to my kids, and they're way better than I am. But yeah, it's seamless.
That is so cool. And I wonder about this because I think about this all the time about nature versus nurture, because I wonder how much of that was, of course, environment played on it, but is there some kind of genetic thing within you? Because it's in because so much of us is just, we're born with it. We have to develop it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are born with things. And we were talking about off air, about the fact that so many of our kids are creative and do things that aren't the norm, are kind of talked out of it. That breaks my heart.
Sure.
breaks my heart.
Yeah, mine too.
And so you didn't really have that, did you? Because your parents were already into music and stuff, so they didn't look at you and say, "Get a real job. So go be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever."
No, it was a requirement to take piano lessons.
Wow.
And I think multiple times a year I would beg to quit. And thank God she would never let me. She's got to finish this out. And of course, my kids are saying the same thing. So like they're homeschooled, but one of the requirements is they have to take a music class. And that music class just happens to be my mother who teaches them piano.
That's
And
amazing.
of course, now my son is so good. She's like, I don't know what to do with. I mean, he's surpassed me.
But he
which
was
is a
born,
great place.
But he was probably born with so much of it. He was born because I think like I don't really have any talents except for loving people, and I can't really make money doing that.
And you can hit a golf ball.
But, well, I can't every now and then. But I know that I was born happy. I mean, I really was born happy, and I've developed more of that over the years. But like I said, I can't make a job out of that. Well, maybe I can. My happy ass life.
That's right. Exactly.
Maybe I can. But that's so cool. So when you was there ever a time when you were young that it felt like people thought you were weird for being so into music, or was it cool? Was it always cool? Or do you even remember that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was cool if it was the right music that they. Could relate to. If I was like, "Oh, check out this symphonic piece," they probably like, "What? What do you mean?" Like this just wasn't. But if I said, "Hey, Metallica did this," or "This is this dance song," obviously they can relate to it. But everybody universally can relate to music because it's so attached to our feelings. So. I mean, it's a good tool, and there is a reason why they say that music speaks. I mean, it does talk to people, and so I think they did relate to it, and they just knew that they call me Toodaloo. They just always
they called you Toodaloo.
Because I was playing trumpet, and it's
that's
like
so cool.
So, but I was just always doing it.
And were you in the school band?
I was,
so,
yeah. To choir, to school band, Mosley school band. Went to college, tried that. And failed epically, but I was in the band there. But still, even in that environment, see, college was not for me.
Yeah.
Might be for some people. But I would literally skip the music class I was in to go down the hall and start writing music. It
makes great sense to me.
I mean, it just wasn't because what they were trying to do was getting me conform in this box.
Right.
And I've always been one that likes to kick out of the box and get free or color outside the lines.
Most people that are artistic and creative are that way. I filmed a podcast with my daughter Brett this morning, and we were talking a lot about that because she's always been just kind of this wacky weirdo child in a wonderful way.
Yeah,
I use weirdo as a wonderful thing. Weirdo, I want to be weird and peculiar. I don't want to be like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so when you so you're doing your music, all this stuff, and I got to ask you this, and I'm gonna bounce all over the place because we got to talk about the Songwriters Festival for sure. So we're not going to forget that. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But I've got to know because I'm going to tell you what I love about you. I'm not going to spend the whole time doing that. But you and I play golf together. And I love playing golf. You're one of my favorite people to play golf with.
We do.
Love playing golf with you. And I said this about you to other people. I said, Will Thompson is such a gentleman because he's a gentleman on the golf course. And listen, if you can be a gentleman on the golf course, you can be a gentleman anywhere because it can get the best. I mean, because I've been known to say some things I shouldn't say on the golf course. And your friends are nice too. But the thing that I love about you is your emphasis on your family, the things you do with your family. And many people that get involved in music, they're so in their head about their music and being famous and doing what they would do that sometimes they sacrifice, and not in a good way, their family values. And that's real important to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the reason why y'all homeschool so the kids can be available and all that stuff like that. So I said all that to say this. So when did you meet Lindsey and how?
Wow.
She's adorable.
Okay, so
she's adorable.
So I met her. I was in a path where I was, had to make some decisions. And that was that crossroads of you can get signed by a major record label. And I had maybe, that's a new word. Maybe
I like it.
4 opportunities from New York to Nashville to Los Angeles, and working with my idol at the time. And I had my Jerry Maguire moment in the studio, and I was just like, that inward voice, like, is this really what you want? And that question right there has guided me every step of the way. Like, take away everything. Is this what you're supposed to be doing? What's the point of what you're doing? So that brought me to forget everything and go back home. And I was going to do one more concert or something, because I really wasn't interested in doing music the traditional way anymore, or going through a major record label. And so I was getting a band together, and one of my friends said, you should check out this piano player, and she at this church. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go. And I went and I saw her, and it's one of those moments where everything stops in time, and you got to figure out, am I going crazy? Because like I feel like I'm hearing these bells go off, and I'm going to marry this woman. And so that happened in a moment. And of course, in a religious setting, I'm like, I don't know, is this God or a devil? You know, like then I found out how old she was. I was like, oh, it's the devil. Like, 'cause she was 17 at the time, just about to turn 18.
Okay.
And I was 20 something. And it just happened where I met her family, and I was done with dating people at the time. I was just like, I'm tired of trying on people. Like, I just want
in the first place.
Yeah, I just want this thing where I know that I know that I know, like the old saying. And so I became friends with her family first, and then her. And I would go over there just to have peace and to throw my phone away and just think about life. Like, okay, you had said no to this thing here. What you thought you wanted was the pinnacle of everything. And if that's not it, then what is? And so I was in that time of reflection and discovery. And we would, talking about Lindsey, we would have conversations at the kind of the end of the night after dinner, and her parents was kind of, well, we're going to go to bed or whatever. And we're just having, and we'd light a candle, a little conversation candle, have some Nat King Cole playing.
Oh, that's
and perfect. I know. And I learned in 1 month of just conversation. We never went on one date, but I learned so much about her and about myself, because we're having this conversation about dreams and visions and what's in your heart and and so she looked at me sometime after that, not very long, and she said, what is this? Because like we're
good at asking that question. That's where I'm going, what is this?
What is this? Because this is like very personal. Like, we're going deeper than just surface. How's the weather? Oh, cool, let's hang out. And I said, I love you. I could marry you right now. You know, I believe that I could marry you in this moment. It's just like, what took you so long? And so without going on one date, we get married, and now, you know, since 2002, we've been married.
Oh, wow. And y'all have, I see the energy. It's very comfortable. And I recognize it because I had a precious husband. My husband was amazing. And he wasn't that quick with it. It took him 5 years of dating me to figure out he needed to marry me.
Right.
But we still had that same comfortable demeanor and presence with each other. The kind, compassion, just you can just feel it. You can just feel it with people. And when I'm around people that are like that, it makes me happy. I go, oh, that's such a beautiful thing. And it was God. It was God, you know, and I know a little bit of that story. You've told me that story before. And I think so many people are at those crossroads when they're having to make a decision, and their gut is telling them, this is not for me, because I won't share too much of it, but I know that you felt like that these people were not really living the kind of life that you wanted to live.
Right.
It wasn't, you wanted to have a wholesome, good life. There's another, I know nobody wants to be called wholesome probably, but that is another word. I think of you. I think of wholesome when I think about you and Lindsey and your whole band. It's just a wholesome, good, I always feel good. It's the most beautiful energy. So I love that. And I love seeing you and Lindsey together. I love seeing the home you built together and these precious kids. So that's cool. And that's good for young people to hear. and you're doing a lot of good with young people through your music. And I know people say we're not supposed to be role models, but yes, we are. Yeah. I think we are. I think we're called to be role models for life for other people.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Well, especially my kids. I mean, I want them to know that just because you are, it sounds like a fairy tale story, but that we will also go through these trials and tribulations and rough patches and stupid arguments. And so it's just as important that they see us go through those things as well. We don't hide anything from our children. We're very transparent with them because I want them to understand how to navigate through things. And then the other important thing that I've learned is also telling them, going back in their room later, saying, I'm sorry, I didn't handle that well.
Right.
I was wrong. So, it's just kind of an example, for my kids. And if I figure I can, make some headroom with them, then maybe I can have a voice in someone else's life.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love it. So I think we were talking offline or off air about the fact that I am so grateful I have sponsors now.
Awesome.
So my company, Beachy Beach Real Estate, which I must admit is the sweetest, the most precious.
The
most adorable. And I know that's not the kind of word you use to describe real estate, but guess what? I am the leader, so that's what it is, So Beachy Beach Real Estate, I have partners down. They believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So they sponsor this.
Awesome.
I also have these two other amazing people. I have Bay Tax, which is Brian Yormack, which you might want to know about him. He taught me tax strategies to accelerate my appreciation on my building so I could get all these tax benefits instead of waiting 30 years down the road. It's cool. It's legal.
Yep.
All the stuff, And then I've got sweet Kitty Stewart from the Dream Team, powered by Edge, and she's a mortgage broker. So remember the time you had trying to get this thing financed? So, because he has a weird house. It's beautiful. Remember I said weird is wonderful? It says beautiful barn dominium. And, and banks like to finance what everybody else has. Tradition. If it's different at all.
That's right.
But of course you had to be not like everybody else. Because you don't want your music to be like everybody else. But yeah, so thank you for those sponsors. And I'm able to put it out here for everybody and pay my producer and pay to put it out there. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I know.
Thank you, sponsors.
I know. I love it. So the kids, now the kids like the 16, and how old is Lyrica?
She's 13.
13. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. And I'm going to be different. I'm not going to be like everybody else says, oh, they're teenagers. I'm going to say things like, how exciting. What an exciting time in life. And I think that a lot of reasons why a lot of them don't do well is because people are telling them that they're not. Oh my gosh, teenagers are a bunch of work and a bunch of problems.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's challenges, but you know what? You probably don't know this, but the one thing that you and Lindsey have that is going to serve them for the rest of their lives, you're together. You're married. Yeah. They're from a home with a mom and a daddy. And that's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. And Lyrica's so darling. I've not really met your son, but Lyrica's adorable. And the names, oh my gosh, Leader and a Lyrical. Oh my God. I wonder where that came from.
Yeah. Yeah, she's too cool for school. They both, it's so cool when you can go to work with your kids.
Yeah, that's what.
This past Sunday, we play Red Bar every Sunday night. And they both were there. And Leader's playing the keys and just crushing it. And, some guy slips Lyric, it's like, Lyric, here you go, here's $100. Will you go sing? No. She's like, no, she's too cool. So I have to pay her $200. And then she gets up there and sings her 2 songs and blows it away.
Lyric did? She got a debate. Oh my gosh.
She did it. Everybody's freaking out. And she's like, okay, man. She's just not moved by that stuff. She's like, okay.
That is hilarious. So what did she sing? What did she sing?
She sang the bar staples. So she did Zombie, got to do Zombie. And then she did Come Together by the Beatles.
Oh, come together.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that song. I love that song so much. So I want to definitely talk about this because it's super important and it's something that's very dear to you. I like to support the arts and many different charities, and your claim to fame or claim to the thing that you love to do is to make sure that young people are introduced to music and have music in their lives. And more that's difficult because a lot of the funding's been taken away. So it's up to us to do these things. So tell us about what you're doing and how people can get involved and when we're doing it.
Sure. So I have a nonprofit called Bay Youth Music Association. And the arts are 40 in Florida. We're 48 of 50. We're on the bottom of funding for arts.
So sad.
And having two parents in the school systems and in arts, I would hear the conversations. I would hear the woes and the struggles of getting support. And so I just always wanted to do something for that next generation. And I kind of saw this YMCA center after school program for these kids that could come to a safe place and come up to the front desk. Instead of getting a basketball, they get an instrument. And then they go, and the building has tons of practice rooms, and you can go in there and practice. We have free master classes. And those people that are maybe not inclined to do music and really talented in that area, other things like rolling chords, lights, sound. There's just tons of things for these kids to get involved with. And so that's our end goal, is to have some sort of facility for after school program. And I'm working on that, especially next year. But we have given instruments, scholarships. Last year we did kind of a recording studio, gave some mics, guitars, and recording equipment to the kids because I just, it's an outlet. It's a positive outlet. Like even, I always get emotional thinking about it, but the kids in the back room that are writing poetry or don't think anyone understands. I mean, they have something to say, and that's it. Like give them a platform or avenue in which they can express themselves in a positive way, even if it's about pain. To be able to express it is a very positive thing.
Oh gosh, yes, because they keep it held inside, and especially a lot of these children there's so many, including mine, from broken homes, that don't have a mom and dad, don't have a full support system, and that poor mom's there by herself, or that poor dad's there by himself trying to take his kids. But the cool thing for me too, for these children and what you're doing is, I was a special ed teacher when I was a school teacher, and I loved it. And my goal was always to find what people did right. No, I wasn't worried about what you couldn't do.
Right.
I wanted to focus on what you could do.
Right.
And so many children are fit in this box of school and education, and if you can't do A, B, C, or D, you're done. And those are the kids that get in trouble.
Yeah.
They get in trouble. So to give kids an outlet of music or art or all these things. So when I see that the arts are cut, it breaks my heart, and I'm going to do something about it. I am very supportive of what you're doing. I will always be supportive of it. And so one of the things you do to raise money for your charity is the Songwriters Festival. Tell us a little bit about that. That was so much fun last year.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
This is our 6th annual, and again, it's a little different than other festivals because it's all about new music. It's all about undiscovered music. So it's not one of those things where you already know the songs and you're going to go there and you're going to sing them top of your lungs. It's not that kind of festival. It's more about, I'm going to set myself, which is very hard to do in today's age, to listen and to be a part of their story and hear perspectives that maybe you wouldn't have yourself. And to do that really takes a special person to really have, first of all, the attention span, and then the open-mindedness to hear new music and new thought. And so I love this festival because it does highlight the undiscovered artist. And I'm responsible for bringing in a couple of the what we would call headliners, although none of them is some huge name. It's just not who we are. You know, we're more of a grassroots, and I would never get in debt to do a festival.
Right. Yeah.
We're just growing it, and we know how. And then I have a board of people who listen to submissions of songs. So people, and I don't want to have anything to do with the picking process of that, because so many festivals, you have to know the person, or they're going to see your bio. You have to have so many followers, and that's just ridiculous. That's a ridiculous method for you to be able to express your art. So what I do is I get about 7 or 8 people, and I go and I just tell them the initial of the person that they're listening. Submission number 1, RS, and we play the song, and they vote on it based on lyric content, how it's performed, the actual whole package of the song. That's the most fair thing I can think of. But what that does do is it brings people from all over the nation in, and it's just great songwriters. And so it's a 2-day event. It's always downtown. It's always multiple artists. I think we have maybe 47 artists this year. We got about 7 venues, and they're all within walking distance, which is amazing. You don't have to get in your car, go somewhere else. And by the time you get somewhere else, that place is actually packed and you can't get in. So now you got to drive back 30 minutes. So it's just real convenient.
It's really cool. It is very convenient, and I've really enjoyed it. I've been a few years now, and
You've been a sponsor.
I've been sponsored for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm for anything. I think this is I want to ask you this question. I have the belief that when God gives us things, when God has blessed us, that is my ultimate responsibility to bless others. And it's not just my responsibility, I want to. And I just feel like I have to, and I want to. But how do you feel about what made you want to? Because, you could just do your music, make your money, be at home with your little family, have fun, go play golf with me. Maybe we tell you a golf story before we're out of here.
Yeah.
But you know what my favorite one was. But so what made you say, I want to do something. I want to raise some money. I want to do something for these kids that might not have an instrument. What kind of pains your heart to do that?
We go back to asking, if I'm mentoring a musician, I ask the question, why? Why? I want to get signed. Why? I want to be famous. Why? What are you going to do, and what are you going to be a steward over once you're famous? Or what is the reason that you are famous? For me, the answer was, I just want to help people. And I don't have to be famous to help people. And I don't have to have a record deal to help people. Everybody can help somebody if that's what it moves them to do. And so that question, one of the things is giving away from myself. Some people call it a tithe. Some people call it karma. Some people call it, energy, vibe, whatever it is. When we give away from ourselves, I really believe it always does return back to us. And that's not the reason why we do it.
In a big way.
We do it because it is just right to do. And the selfish part is you feel good helping people. We get to feel good helping people, but we do it because it's just the right thing to do. If you can help somebody, why would you not help them? I mean, anyway, it's what we need most on this planet here today.
I know. So I want to make sure remind me of the dates, and we're going to put it in the show notes too, so they can see it, and I'll be advertising it too.
We're kicking it off November 7th with Brian McKnight, he was a R&B singer, you like a dream come true.
I like it already.
Yeah, it's a very intimate thing. It's one night only.
Okay.
And he's going to just do question answer about songwriting, making a career before all the social media stuff and now after, basic songwriting things. So it's a really cool thing to have this year. Then we kick off Friday night with the Songwriters Rounds. We have a VIP meet and greet and artist party afterwards. Then Saturday, we're doing something different. It's called a festival within a festival. And that happens about 12:30. And we're going to have all these different types of people playing. And we have opened up songwriting submissions for kindergarten through 12th this year.
That is so cool.
And so hopefully, and we've already got some submissions in, they're going to perform. We're going to have a shred contest like a guitar, 30 seconds, play as best as you can. We're going to do all kind of little things from that little, in that little amount of time.
So getting more kids involved, getting more young people.
Yeah, we have Huck and Lily, which they do kid music and get them involved. So it's kind of really family oriented. And then about 2:30, we kick off something called the Local Spotlight this year, which is just local singer-songwriters who have submitted this past year, and they're going to perform. It's absolutely free for the community, so come out and support them. And then after that, we start back the songwriters rounds, and that'll go into the night, and then the big jam after party Saturday night,
Cool.
and then it's over.
Well, I look forward to it. I'm excited about it. So we've talked about our music and how we met each other and all the stuff and your family. So we like to play golf. And we haven't gotten to play in a long time, a really long time. And we need to do that. We need to correct that.
Yes, we do.
Immediately. But you can hit the ball a long way, really long way. And it blows my mind because, like, you're not a real big human. And you get up there and you knock the fool out of that ball.
And I can hit it a long way in any direction.
Yeah. If you don't play golf, you don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. Like sometimes I'll hit the ball and I go, oh, that was so amazing. If only it was in the right direction. Because it feels good to hit it good, but if you're in the wrong direction, it doesn't matter. But one time we were playing golf with your buddy, Mark and your other friend, and you and I, and Lyrica was there, and you and I were teaming up, and they said, let's just play for like a dollar or something. It's like nobody's gonna be out like $5, some of that. And so we were gonna be us against them. And at first they said, we'll spot you a point for me. They will spot us some for me because I was playing.
A stroke a hole
for me. You know, and this is totally unusual. I think the very first hole I birdied it, and then the second hole I parred or second hole, whatever.
And so you got another birdie.
Yeah, and so then the guy said, "Never mind, we're not going to do that." But
you're a ringer.
Well, they said, you brought a ringer. And listen, I am not a ringer. Some days I look like I'm a champion. And some days I look like I have never held a golf club in my life. It's a hard game.
It's a hard game.
But I love it.
I do too.
I freaking love to play golf. If I could, but I can't because I got to work and all that stuff. But I would play golf. I would play golf maybe at least 3 days a week if I could.
Oh yeah.
At least. If I could, if I had a lot of money, I'd just play all the time. You know,
Right.
I just volunteer and play golf. That's what I would do. But so you like to play music, you like to play golf. So what's a fun, relaxing day for you? What's a relaxing, fun day where you just kick back and don't think about anything?
Yeah, it's not putting on any like regular clothes until at least 11:30. Sleeping in, going to get coffee, hanging out with the kids, watching a movie, going to get some food together. I like to, on your days out, because we're so in front of people.
Yes.
Performing. On my days off, I love to just be home, And last thing I really want to do, now, sometimes I'll go out and support musicians because it's just good to do that.
Yeah.
But half the time, I just don't want to hear any music.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Do you think I want to talk real estate with you?
Right. Because not only do we perform out, but then I'm in the studio all the time. So constant sound, constant waves of vibration. And so, we really just to be quiet, like bring something back home and hang out. Or we are Orlando nerds. I mean, we go there to Universal.
We used to do that a lot. We don't do it too much anymore.
Islands of Adventure all the time.
Love Islands of Adventure.
Yeah, that's just kind of where we go. And
I love the ones where you get soaking wet,
Yeah.
Popeyes is fun.
Yeah.
So what about, I'll ask you a couple more questions before we go. So you said movies. What's one of your favorite movies you've seen lately? What's a good movie you really like?
Golly.
If you can think of one. It's hard to think.
Yeah, I don't know if there's necessarily one that I've seen recently that I can remember. I saw, I did see Deadpool and Wolverine or whatever it is. That was funny. It was violent, but it was funny. I mean, in a funny way.
Oh, violence and fun. They go great together.
In a Kill Bill kind of way.
Yeah.
It's just, almost humorous.
Yeah.
But that was good. And I've been watching Penguin,
I haven't
which is
seen
a
that.
series on HBO. And that's good. So far, so good. It's 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are the type of people that like circulate between Parks and Recreation, The Office,
Yeah.
30 Rock, and we just cycle
Yeah.
through those constantly all the time.
The Office and the Gilmore Girls was my grief therapy after my husband passed away.
Yeah. And
I just-
Seinfeld. And
Yeah.
Seinfeld.
I just lost myself in that stuff after my husband passed away. That was and so my other friends, they've lost their husbands, I tell them what my grief plan was. I go, seriously? I go, I promise it was. It was really good. But, so I have enjoyed this time with you, Will. I have loved, and we've got to, and I'll let y'all know if we do, we've got to find a golf time.
Yes.
Get time to play golf together.
Yes.
I really, really enjoy. I think I play better when I play with you, too. I think that does. When you play with people that are good energy and are happy and kind and sweet, I hate going out with people that are, I started saying ugly word, like jerky.
I like you because I could have like a quadruple bogey or something. You're just like, oh, we'll give him next time. Just positive. Like, well, it's a good number. It's lucky. Seven's a good lucky number.
Yeah, and if we hit it long and it's the wrong way, it's still long. Yeah, it's good. I love it. So I am excited because your 80s show's coming up. So by the time they hear this podcast, they might have missed it.
Mm-hmm.
But after going to the, you knew that I would want the Motown. You texted me and said, Karen, you better get this Motown because I love Motown.
That's right.
That's my jam. I think I got me some black somewhere down in my history because I am that's always been my thing.
Yes.
Love it. That's what's on my iPod. Well, it's not even an iPod anymore. It's on my phone. We don't have iPods anymore, whatever. But so is there anything, I do have to ask you that final question. We have a final question I always ask people, and he doesn't know I'm going to ask it because none of these have been out yet.
Oh, boy.
So just, life sometimes gets tough. And I know you're a person of faith like me, and that's so important in my life. I don't even know anybody gets up in the morning without it. But what do you do when life is hard? How do you find you're happy in the hard? Where do you, what gives you peace, gives you comfort and joy?
Well, obviously, faith. My faith does. Mm-hmm. But I like the saying about, the high places, the low places are raised, and the sideways is like just stability. Mm-hmm. And I understand that it's temporary, and I just allow myself to live in that temporary for a moment and not try to run away from it too quickly because I always learn something in it. Mm-hmm. So I think I just continue to breathe through it and keep positive attitude. I've always just had that ability to look past my circumstance and where I am in this moment.
Me too. I was kind of born with that. And as I get older, the more I appreciate that so much. And I appreciate all you happy asses. And I thank you for joining me with my sweet, precious friends that I love so much that are special to me. And I want you to all to keep being happy asses because, the world will be a lot better place if everybody was a happy ass. Don't you think?
A precious happy ass.
All right, y'all. What do you want to say at the end?
What?
Be sweet, y'all.
Figures. Yeah.
Bye.